Hello and welcome to my kitchen. I still don't have an intro, so here we go. Maybe that is my intro. Anyways, today we are making cinnamon rolls because this is a crowd favorite. I think I've made these cinnamon rolls like 3 times in the last week. Anyways, so yes, we are making cinnamon rolls, but we are also talking about the fact that I am deafblind. If you don't know what that means, basically, it's exactly what it sounds like. I'm deaf and I'm blind. I'm trying to plug this in. I am deaf out of my right eye. What? I am deaf out of my left ear and I am blind out of my right eye. So I basically move through the world like this, which, as you can imagine, is pretty confusing at times. Please hold. Anyways, so yes, being deafblind can be very confusing sometimes. So today we're going to talk about a few reasons why it can be confusing sometimes. Before we do that, I wanted to let you all know that I have a Patreon now. If you subscribe to a monetary tier on my Patreon, you get exclusive access to all kinds of things like sneak peeks of my merch and first access to my merch store, which is coming very soon and I'm very excited about it. Also, you get all of the videos that are unedited, which I don't know why you would want that, but it's out there for you if you do. You get access to things like a group chat with all my patrons and me, of course, and a lot of other things. Those are just a few. But if you want to go check out my Patreon, the link is below. So here are just a few things that are really confusing about being deafblind. One thing that is super confusing about being deafblind is the lack of depth perception that I have. So you know how, like, if you're driving, you can tell approximately how far the car in front of you is away from you? I can't tell. So when I drive, I've taught myself and other people have taught me how to use visual like markers to see how far away somebody is from me or how far I need to be away from somebody in order to not hit them. It's a really fun time. The lack of depth perception also comes in when I'm putting something onto a table or a counter. This is fine because I'm standing on a stool, so everything is below me, which is helpful. But this comes into play especially at restaurants because most tables come to about here on me, which is kind of terrible. So if I'm like taking a glass off the table and like sipping from it, then when I go to put it back, I can't tell how far the glass is away from the table or if the glass is gonna clear the table when I go to put it back on the table. So that's a really fun time too.
Hello everybody, this is Future Cassidy coming to apologize because for the entirety of this next clip, the hand mixer is blocking my face, which is really great. I didn't notice this when I was filming, and now that I'm editing this, I see that you cannot read my lips, which is a problem if you are hard of hearing or if you read lips just in general. I know that this video is captioned, but I still wanted to make it known that I understand this is an issue and I am sorry for it. Anyways, back to the video.
Another reason being deafblind is very confusing is because of my lack of inner ear. Because my inner ear on my left side didn't form completely, I'm basically only working with one inner ear. This means that when someone calls my name, I cannot tell which direction they are calling my name from. So if you ever see me out in public and you yell, Cassidy, I'm gonna look all around because I know that my name is being called. I can hear that, but I can't hear where you're calling it from.
Hi, future me here again. Just to say that this next clip that you are about to see is really just a tangent I went on about how confusing being deaf is. So this doesn't really have much to do with being deaf and blind. This really just has a lot to do with the deafness aspect of things. Okay, I think that's the last time I'm gonna interrupt, and back to the video.
Oh, I didn't know that certain things make noise. Like, I had no idea that refrigerators make noise or lights make noise. How was I supposed to know that? No one ever told me this. And I'm deaf, so I don't really know how I was supposed to, figure this out. I didn't know that squirrels made chirping noise. I've been learning a lot about different things that make noise. So that's been something that has been really confusing for me to learn because I just went through 21 years of my life not knowing that certain things make noise. Let's go back to the depth perception one for a second because I really feel like we glossed over that. I do not understand how seeing out of 2 eyes works. Okay, let's start there. I don't get it. I can only see out of 1 eye and I've basically only been able to see out of 1 eye for my entire life. So I cannot comprehend seeing out of 2 eyes. It's very kind of dystopian alien to me. I don't know another word to like use. I've had people try to explain it to me. It's really tripping me out. And I don't understand how you look at me and think I'm weird for not being able to see out of two eyes. Like the way I see makes complete sense. And I almost feel like it makes more sense than people who can see out of two eyes. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Weigh in on this debate. I am doing this over a bowl, by the way. Don't think that I'm just doing this over the counter. Also, this is like really hard work. I've made this 3 times in the last few days and people want it again, which is why I'm making it again. But I don't have a stand mixer, which I really need to get because this is a lot of work. The other day, I stood in the kitchen for like 8 hours. No joke, 8 hours, because I did cinnamon rolls, but then I also did bagels for my boyfriend's drumline, and it was exhausting. Like the next day, my abs hurt. Like I did like a full body workout. Back on topic. I think learning how to use different mobility aids that like my peers weren't using at a really young age was confusing. Like I didn't understand why I had to wear a mobility aid, like my hearing aid, and like my peers in like first grade didn't. Because like the way I moved through the world just kind of made sense to me. Like when my sister came along, she was born when I was about 3.5. When she was born and she was hitting like all these different milestones and she got to do things that I couldn't and things like that, I was so confused because I thought my childhood and like my existence was just the way childhood was supposed to work. So when I started going to school or when I started seeing like my sister doing all these different things, I was like, what is happening? So I guess like the concept of like I wear a hearing aid every day and like my peers don't, I guess that was really confusing when I was little. Obviously it's gotten less confusing now just because I know that like my way of moving through the world is a little more unique and that's okay. But it definitely was pretty confusing when I was younger. Now that my dough is resting and my kitchen is mostly clean, I've moved location. So there are many different things about being deafblind that are difficult. I struggle a lot with people wearing face masks because I can't read their lips and I can't hear them. That's an aspect of being deaf that really sucks. I struggle with hearing in loud places because I have a hearing aid, but it only does so much. And I also have a little bit of hearing loss in my other ear as well. It isn't bad enough to where medical intervention is needed. Some aspects of being blind, I bump into a lot of things, not because I can't see them, but because I can't tell how far away things are. I used to fall quite a bit as a child, and I'm convinced partially that it was because of my balance issues, but mainly because I didn't have the ability to tell how far things were away from me, like curbs. So I would step down off of a curb, but not really understand how big that curb was. So then I would undercompensate and fall off of the curb because I underestimated how large it was. I fall a lot less now, but the communication issues is still what I struggle with most being a deafblind person. And the reason I'm making this video isn't to complain about being a deafblind person. Like there are definitely struggles in my life, but the reason I'm making this video is because I know a lot of people don't think about these kinds of struggles. So I thought it would be interesting for other people to learn what it's like to live and walk through the world as a deafblind person. The other reason I'm making this video is because all of the articles I've been able to find online about deafblind people really make it seem like our lives are tragedies. A lot of them are very bleak, and that's just not how my life and a lot of other people who are deafblind lives are. That's not the right way to say that, but you guys know what I'm saying. That's just not the reality of the situation. Like we can live long, happy, independent, successful lives. And I think a lot of people hear that I'm deafblind and they're like, whoa, how do you do this? How do you do this? And I'm happy to explain those things. And I'm happy to point out the things that are difficult for me in order to open other people's eyes about how to maybe make the world a little more accessible. But my life is not bleak. It's not unsuccessful. It's not unfulfilling. I live a very happy, healthy, independent, love and fun-filled life. So I just wanted to make this video to really show you guys what it's like living with some of the struggles of a deafblind person. I still don't have an outro, but please go subscribe to my Patreon if you want more content or if you want to help me make more content, because that's what I do with that money. Please subscribe to this channel, like, comment, all of the things. Go follow me on other social media. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!